Happy Thursday, everyone. It is Lynn with Crafting Break. Ooh, let me clean up some of this mess. You don't need to see all these stamps yet. It is Thursday. It is day 4 of our gratitude week, where we are making fall-inspired projects, cards, and some 3D projects, although we've only done one so far. Not really a 3D project, I guess, but something with a little treat. Let me recap what we've done so far this week. This was Monday night. So grateful to have a friend like you. Thankful for the small things. And my alternative card was this one. That one has a lot of Wink of Stella on it. Night 2 was this leaf chocolate from See's Candy. That came in a little, oh my gosh, I just realized 2 are milk chocolate and 2 are dark chocolate. I had no idea. I better remember what are the light chocolate or what milk chocolate ones are, because that's what I eat. So this was Tuesday night and Wednesday. I'm like, where am I? Wednesday. This was the card Wednesday night. I had a second one somewhere, but I don't know where it is right now. And the card we're making tonight is this one. I got a little smudge up there. That's all right. So grateful to have a friend like you. Thankful for the small things. So don't ask me why, but as I was going to sleep last night, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, or I don't know, sleeping sometimes is a little difficult for me. I was laying in bed last night, falling asleep, right after I went to bed, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to see if that small pumpkin fits in the jar, and I'm going to put a pumpkin in a jar on my next card. So that's what I did. So I think it's cute. If you don't own the jar stamp, it's okay. You can just stamp pumpkins or whatever else, but I don't know. I thought it was kind of cute, and the vines coming out. So that is the project tonight. Let me show you what you'll get with the card tonight in your pack. You get the pumpkin pie card base, 2 basic white layers, which are the same size, one for the outside layer, one for the inside. You'll get a strip of, this is Country Woods DSP paper. I didn't use the other paper. I felt like that wood was a little too dark for what I wanted. So I went to the Country Woods pack and got this one. And then this little strip came from this, and I just used the leftover, and I'm going to use it for the inside. You can see how I did that here. I started with a 1.5 inch strip and thought it was too high. So I trimmed it, and then I ended up using it in here. So we'll do the same thing on this card too. Okay, let us get started with some stamping. We are going to start with the jar, and I'm going to place this DSP, and when I say DSP, I mean Designer Series paper. It is our pattern paper. And before I, excuse me, I have the hiccups. I spent all the milk duds I ate at work today. Before I get too much further, let me explain that I am running this as a free with purchase class this week. If you love the projects and you want all of the cardstock to make these 5 projects, I may even send you a chocolate. Just head over to my website and place a minimum order of $50, and that is before tax and shipping and Stampin' Rewards, and I will send you all the cardstock from all the cardstock you need to make the projects for the week, and I'll send that to you free of charge in the mail. And the deadline for that is Sunday. So if you see anything you like here and you want to replicate that, I have used a couple different sets this week. I have used Beautiful Pumpkins, and I have used Gathering Moments, and I did use the die for this one. I did use the leaf die from Gathering Moments. But other than that, I haven't used any other dies. And then, of course, on this card, I am using the Jar of Joy, which is a super, let me reach over here. It's a super cute stamp set for the holidays, for Christmas. I'm just using the stamp right here. And again, you don't need that stamp to make this card. You can just put both pumpkins side by side on the card. So let's get started with the jar. And I'm going to use Early Espresso. My color palette has been pretty much the same all week on all these cards. So tap, tap, tap. I may need to get my head in here just a little bit because I need to kind of see where my jar needs to go. I don't want to get it on the DSP, but I want to get it close to the bottom. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to put that aside for now, and we'll bring it back out in a minute after we do some other stamping. Let's see how I did. Pretty darn good. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, let's move that out of the way. And I'm going to bring in pumpkin pie. And if you remember from the first night, we used the larger pumpkin. This is two-step stamping or second generation as well. So I'm going to, let me explain the difference between the stamps. This more solid stamp is the one we're going to stamp first. And you're going to stamp it in the ink, stamp it on a scrap paper, and then stamp it on your project. This detailed one is going to go straight into the ink and straight onto your project. And this is what's going to bring in the detail. So let's tap, tap, tap. I can hear how juicy that one was. I have a scrap piece of paper right here. I'm just going to stamp that on. And then I'm going to get my pumpkin close to the bottom. Okay. And I am going to clean that right away because I do need the same stamp again. And I'm using baby wipes, so it'll take a minute for that to dry. Okay, let's go in with our detailed stamp. And my head's probably going to come in here so I can line it up best I can. Close enough for me. Okay, let's put that color away. And let's go for the stem next. I am using crumb cake for my stem. I don't know, people don't put pumpkins in jars, but maybe it's a decoration piece that people have. I don't know why I thought about this. I have no idea. Okay, let's bring in Old Olive. And let's bring in this large leaf and vine piece. And we're going to start cascading our leaves out of the jar and off to the side. So I'm going to get close to the stem. And one more. And I did not change the direction of this one. I kind of just tried to pick it up from this stem to these leaves, just to kind of show a continuation, if you will. And then what I ended up doing, actually we'll do that in a minute, we won't do that quite yet. Let's put that aside for now. Oh, hopefully I did not clean the stamp. Let me clean that real quick. I need to clean my Stampin' Scrub. So let's just put that on a scrap piece of paper because I do need this stamp next. Actually, oh, look at all the fuzz I just got on that. That will not be good for stamping. Okay, while we're waiting for those to dry just a little bit more, let's go ahead and punch out the lid for our jar. Now this is part of the bundle. If you get the Jar of Joy and you get the bundle, it comes with a punch. So you can punch your jar out for some other Christmas projects. So all I need for that is the lid on this one. I've got some glue on that. Okay, let's bring this DSP back in just for some placement for now. And it's okay that my leaf's going to get covered down there. Totally fine with that. I'm now going to bring in crushed curry, and we're going to stamp a second pumpkin in this lighter color. So same like the first, second generation on this one. So stamp in the ink, stamp off. And I'm going to put the pumpkin right about there. And you can slide this GSP piece out. And now let's go in with the detailed stamp. And again, the best you can. Okay. And we're done with crushed curry. Now I'm going to bring that early espresso back in. Actually, before I do that, let's go ahead and layer this DSP down so it's in place when I go to stamp my sentiment. And that goes right at the bottom. And as always, to make sure I get it there. Oh, see, I did get a little bit off over there, but it's very, ever so slightly. Okay, now what I want to do with this is I want to bring the sentiment in that says, "So grateful to have a friend like you." And I'm going to, now see, I got a little further on this one than I did on my other one, but that's okay. That's why I stamped this pumpkin light, because the sentiment can go right across there. And I did notice I did forget to stamp my stem on that other little pumpkin, so let's do that real quick in Crumb Cake. There we go. Can't have a pumpkin without a stem. And then while we have the early espresso out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment for the inside. That says, thankful for the small things. And we are done with that color. And again, while we have this piece, let's take that very tiny piece and adhere it to the bottom of the inside layer. So we can stamp a leaf down there. Oops, I just wanted to slide it over just a little bit, and that was quite a bit. Okay, we are done with that for now. Okay, let's bring in this leaf right here and back of the old olive. I'm going to add one more leaf. I thought this space right here was a little bare. So, oh, it got a little bit of ink there. So I'm going to just add a leaf right there. And I'm going to add a leaf to the inside of the card as well. And our stamping is done. And you could add more leaves. Like you could add one over here. That's what that leaf is really nice for, is just to add some, to fill in some things. Oh, one last piece. The lid that I punched out. Let's put some glue on that. I guess it's this side. Sometimes there's more of a rough side when you punch something out, but I don't really see that on here. And I just kind of left that at an angle, like the vines were pushing the lid open. Oh, don't put that. Okay. Okay, so let's get our card base and fold that. And I will have everything pre-scored for you, so it really is just you would fold on the score line. And I should mention, when I score, it creates what I call a valley. The valley, you fold it to create a mountain. So that's the easiest way to remember. Turn the valley into the mountain. And then use a bone folder to give it a good crisp edge. And you can see how that gives you a really nice crease. And then on the inside, it's a nice crease as well. If you do it the other way, the paper tends to fight you a little bit more. Again, no one would really notice that much of a difference, so it doesn't matter if you do it the other way. Okay, we're going to adhere our layers to the card base. I did get a little off on that one, I see it. That's okay. No one's going to notice it on the card. Hopefully I'm in view and you can see this. If not, I'll push it back in view in a minute. Okay, I just wanted to get this piece out of my way. Last thing I wanted to do was stick my card base in the glue. Wouldn't be the first time I've done it. Nobody has any idea what I mean by that, right? Okay, there we go. And to finish this card off, because, you know, on previous projects I used these Cajun Craze and gold dots, but I didn't use Cajun Craze on this card. So I'm bringing in these street dots, and they're a brown with like a marble effect. They're really pretty. And I did use early espresso and some wood grain here, so I am decided to use these. And I'm only going to use the small ones. And actually I might change my mind here because this corner has a little bit more space. I think the large ones, actually these only have two sizes. There's a large and a small. So I think I will use one large one up there. There we go. You can see how, again, no two cards will ever look the same. My leaf pattern on this one came up a little bit more than this one, so I had room to put a bling or a gem right there. And here it was different, so I added the two up there. So you decide where you want those. And that concludes card number 3 and night number 4 of Gratitude Week. I hope you like that project. I hope it's not too crazy to have a pumpkin in a jar that's got leaves cascading out. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow night with one last video. It may have to do with some chocolate again, not the leaves again, but I have another one for chocolate, and I will have that video for you tomorrow. And if you haven't yet, oh, a couple things. If you haven't yet, if you wouldn't mind liking, sharing, following, subscribing to my YouTube channel, I'd greatly appreciate it. And also, if you're local to the area, I have a couple events coming up. Next Wednesday, I have a beer and card night at Sunny Grove Brewery here in Santee. I have an in-person card class, a morning and an afternoon session. I believe that's the 22nd. It's the last Saturday of the month. That is not the weekend of Thanksgiving. And that class will also be available virtually as a free with purchase class. And I post that video the Sunday after. So a couple things coming up. I also have a Christmas craft along. Unfortunately, those products are on back order right now, or not, I shouldn't even say back order. They're just not orderable right now. Fingers crossed, they're supposed to be in on the 17th of November. So if you're interested in that, please just sign up for my email list, which is in my YouTube channel or my Facebook page as well. You can find the link for that. And the email a reminder will be coming back out for that. I kind of waited to send another email out until I make sure the product does come back in, but I'm hopeful it will because it's super cute. So again, I'm here for any questions. Thank you so much for the support. Have a wonderful evening, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.